At 6:12 a.m., my phone buzzes on the nightstand, dragging me out of a dream I can't remember. The screen glows in the dark bedroom like a tiny emergency flare. I squint at it, expecting the usual nonsense. Spam about car warranties or some contractor buddy asking if I want to grab breakfast at the diner. Instead, I see James Kerr's name, my lawyer, my friend for 30 years, and the message is in all caps. Don't include him, he's up to something. James never writes in caps. James is the kind of guy who still uses proper punctuation in text messages, like he's drafting a legal brief every time he touches his phone. So when I see those words blazing across my screen at 6 in the morning, my first thought isn't confusion. It's cold, immediate certainty that something has gone very wrong. I sit up in bed, my back complaining with that familiar ache that's been my companion since the accident 3 years ago. The accident that ended my contracting career and left me with a settlement, a semi-retirement I never wanted, and way too much time to think about what comes next. What comes next was supposed to be simple. Make a will. Leave everything to Ethan, my son, my only child. The kid I worked 70-hour weeks for, the kid I sent to college, the kid who was supposed to be better than me in every way that mattered. I grab the phone and type back with shaking thumbs. What are you talking about? The 3 dots appear immediately. James is awake, waiting, probably sitting in his kitchen with his morning coffee and that grim expression he gets when he has to deliver bad news. Call me. Now. Not text. I dial. He picks up on the first ring. Harlan, he says, and his voice has that careful, measured quality that lawyers use when they're about to tell you your life is about to get complicated. When did Ethan ask you about power of attorney? Power of attorney? I repeat stupidly. He didn't. What the hell are you talking about? There's a pause. I can hear James breathing, choosing his words. 3 days ago, Ethan came to my office, said you'd been having some memory issues, said you wanted him to have power of attorney over your financial and medical decisions, but that you were embarrassed to ask directly. He had paperwork with him, pre-filled, just needed my signature as witness. The bedroom suddenly feels too small, too dark. I stand up, pacing to the window, looking out at the quiet street where I've lived for 15 years. The house I bought with money I earned by breaking my back in the New England heat and cold, year after year. I never said that, I tell James. My voice sounds strange, distant. I never asked him for anything like that. I know, James says quietly. That's why I didn't sign. That's why I'm calling. Harlan, I need you to listen very carefully. Don't make any changes to your will right now. Don't sign anything Ethan brings you. And for God's sake, don't tell him I called. What's he doing? I ask, but I already know the answer. I can feel it settling in my gut like a stone. I don't know yet, James says, but whatever it is, you need to be careful. I'll do some digging. Keep your eyes open. He hangs up. I stand there in the dark, phone in my hand, watching the sun start to rise over the neighborhood. A few houses down, someone's getting into their car to head to work. Normal morning, normal day, except nothing is normal anymore. I make coffee, strong and black. While it brews, I pull out my laptop and start going through files. I'm not tech-savvy, never needed to be, but I know how to check the basics. Bank accounts, email, the shared family cloud storage we set up last year so we could swap photos. Everything looks fine at first glance. No unauthorized transactions, no suspicious emails. But then I start looking closer, and that's when I see it. 2 weeks ago, someone accessed my account information from an IP address in Ethan's neighborhood. Not my house, his apartment complex. I check the details, 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Who's checking their father's bank accounts at 2 a.m.? Someone who's planning something. I sit back, coffee going cold in my hand, and I think about the last few months. The visits that felt a little too frequent. The questions about my health that felt a little too pointed. Chloe, Ethan's wife, always there with her bright smile and her phone out, recording everything for her social media empire. "How are you feeling, Dad?" Ethan would ask, and I'd laugh it off. "Getting old, kid. Nothing new." But now I'm wondering what they were really doing. Building a case? Establishing a pattern? I drink the coffee anyway, cold and bitter, and I start making a list. Not on paper, I'm not stupid enough to leave evidence lying around, but in my head. A mental catalog of every strange moment, every odd conversation, every time Ethan seemed just a little too interested in my day-to-day life. It's a long list. By 8 a.m., I'm dressed and in my truck, heading across town. I need to see Mia, my niece. She's a financial planner, smart as hell, and most importantly, she's never liked Ethan. Called him slippery once, back when he was in high school, and I laughed her off. Maybe I should have listened. Mia lives in a small condo near the lake, the kind of place that costs way too much for what you get, but she likes the view. I knock on her door, and she answers in yoga pants and an oversized sweater, coffee mug in hand, looking surprised to see me. "Uncle Harlan? What's wrong?" I tell her. Everything. The email from James, the late-night account access, the power of attorney attempt. She listens without interrupting, her expression growing darker with each detail. When I finish, she sets down her coffee very carefully. "Uncle Harlan, I need to tell you something. 2 months ago, Ethan called me. Said you were worried about your finances, that you wanted me to review your portfolio, but that you were too proud to ask. He wanted me to send him the information directly." "And?" I ask, already knowing I won't like the answer. "I told him to have you call me yourself. He got angry, said I was making things difficult. I figured he was just being Ethan, entitled. But now it makes sense," I finish. Mia nods. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," I admit, "but I'm going to figure out what the hell he's planning. And then I'm going to stop it." I leave Mia's place and drive aimlessly for a while, thinking. The town looks the same as always. Quiet streets, familiar faces, the illusion of peace that small New England towns are so good at maintaining. But underneath, there's rot. There's always rot, if you know where to look. I end up at the diner where I used to take Ethan for pancakes when he was a kid. It's nearly empty mid-morning, just a few regulars nursing coffee. I take a booth in the corner and order eggs I don't want. While I wait, I pull out my phone and start going through Ethan's social media. I never pay attention to this stuff normally. It all seems like narcissistic nonsense to me. But now I'm looking for patterns, for clues. His Facebook is full of the usual garbage. Photos of him and Chloe at restaurants, motivational quotes about success, real estate listings he's proud of. But there's something in the comments that catches my eye. Under a photo from last month, Ethan and Chloe at some charity event, someone named Patricia had written, "So glad your dad's doing better. You're such a good son for taking care of him." What? I scroll further. More comments like that. People congratulating Ethan on being supportive during my difficult time. People hoping I'm recovering well. People praising him for stepping up when I needed help. What the hell has he been telling people? The eggs arrive. I eat mechanically, barely tasting them, my mind racing. Ethan's been building a narrative, making himself look like the devoted son, caring for his declining father. Setting the stage. For what? To take control of my money? To have me declared incompetent? To lock me away in some facility while he and Chloe spend my life savings on whatever overpriced nonsense they think they deserve? I pay the check and walk out into the cold October morning. My truck sits in the parking lot, old and beat up and reliable, just like me. I get in and just sit there for a moment, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. My phone buzzes. Not James this time. A number I don't recognize. No caller ID. I answer. "Yeah?" Nothing. Just silence. Then, after a long pause, a voice I don't know. Male. Young. Nervous. "Stop asking questions." Click. I look at the phone like it's grown teeth. Stop asking questions? I haven't asked any questions. Not publicly, not where anyone could hear. Which means someone's watching. Someone knows I'm digging. And they're scared enough to make threats. Good. I start the truck and pull out of the parking lot. As I turn onto Main Street, I catch sight of Ethan's car 2 blocks down, pulling into the parking lot of that new co-working space they built in the old mall. The place is half empty most days, full of freelancers and failed startups, but it's where Ethan likes to take clients when he wants to look more successful than he is. I slow down, watching. Ethan gets out, checks his phone, looks around nervously. Then a woman approaches. Not Chloe, someone I don't know. Dark hair, expensive coat, the kind of person who looks like they know secrets. They talk for maybe 30 seconds. Ethan hands her something. I'm too far away to see what. She nods and walks away quickly. Ethan stands there for a moment, alone in the parking lot, and from this distance I can see his expression. He looks scared. Good, I think again. He should be. I drive home, mind churning with possibilities, and when I pull into my driveway I see them immediately. All 4 tires on my truck. Slashed. Rubber hanging in shreds, rims sitting on the pavement, and tucked under the wiper blade, a note written in block letters. Stop asking questions. I stand there looking at the destruction, and something cold settles in my chest. Not fear. Not anymore. Rage. They want me to stop asking questions? They want me to roll over and play the confused old man? Fine. Let's see how they like it when the old man stops playing nice. I pull out my phone and take photos. Document everything. The tires. The note. The whole scene. Then I call a tow truck, because I'm going to need my truck fixed before I can do anything else. While I wait, I call James back. They slashed my tires, I tell him. Left a threatening note. Jesus Christ, Harlan. We need to call the police. No, I say. Not yet. I want to know what I'm dealing with first. I want to know exactly what Ethan's planning. Then we'll go to the police. With evidence. With everything. James is quiet for a moment. Then, be careful. If he's desperate enough to make threats. I can handle desperate, I tell him. I've been handling desperate my whole life. I hang up and stand in my driveway, waiting for the tow truck, looking at my sabotaged vehicle, and I make a decision. If Ethan wants a war, he's got one, and he has no idea who he's fighting. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. The tow truck takes an hour to arrive. An hour I spend sitting on my front porch, drinking water I don't want, thinking about how quickly everything can fall apart. 30 years of hard work, building a life, saving money, trying to be a good father. And for what? So my own son can plot behind my back? The driver is a kid I don't know, maybe 25, with oil-stained hands and a bored expression. He loads my truck without comment, takes my information, tells me it'll be ready in 2 days. I watch him drive away with the only vehicle I own, and the rage in my chest burns hotter. But rage without a plan is just noise. I learned that years ago, working construction sites where temper tantrums got you fired and calm competence got you promoted. So I go inside, close the door, and start thinking strategically. First problem, I need transportation. Second problem, I need information. Third problem, I need to figure out what Ethan's endgame is before he has a chance to execute it. I borrow Mia's car. She doesn't ask questions, just hands me the keys and tells me to be safe. And I start surveillance. Not the kind you see in movies with high-tech equipment and night vision goggles. Just an old man sitting in a borrowed sedan, watching his son's apartment building, waiting for something to happen. Ethan and Chloe live in one of those modern complexes with too much glass and not enough character, the kind of place that charges premium rent for amenities nobody uses. Gym, pool, co-working lounge. I park across the street at 7 a.m. and wait. Ethan leaves at 8:30, dressed in one of his real estate agent outfits, expensive suit that probably cost more than I made in a week back when I was working. He gets in his BMW and drives toward downtown. I follow, keeping 2 cars back, feeling ridiculous and furious at the same time. He doesn't go to his office. Instead, he heads back to that co-working space in the old mall, the same place I saw him yesterday. I park where I can see the entrance and watch as he goes inside. 10 minutes later, the same woman from yesterday shows up. Dark hair, expensive coat, purposeful walk. She's carrying a leather folder. They meet at the entrance, talk briefly, then disappear inside together. I wait 20 minutes, then I follow them in. The co-working space is trying too hard to be hip. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, recycled wood tables. A handful of people sit scattered around, typing on laptops, pretending to be entrepreneurs. I spot Ethan and the woman in a glass-walled conference room near the back. I grab a newspaper from the rack near the entrance. Who even reads newspapers anymore? And settle into a chair where I can watch them without being obvious. I hold the paper up like I'm reading, but really I'm watching through the gap between pages. The woman is showing Ethan documents. Lots of documents. Ethan looks nervous, keeps glancing toward the door. She's talking, gesturing, pointing at specific pages. At one point, she slides something across the table, an envelope. Ethan hesitates, then takes it. They talk for another 15 minutes. Then Ethan pulls out his wallet and hands her cash. Not a check. Cash. A thick stack of bills. She counts it quickly, nods, stands up. They shake hands. She leaves through the back exit. Ethan sits alone in the conference room for a long moment, staring at the papers in front of him. Then he gathers everything up, shoves it into his messenger bag, and walks out the front entrance without looking around. I give him 30 seconds, then I follow. But I'm not following Ethan. I'm following the woman. She's walking quickly, heels clicking on the pavement, heading toward the parking garage. I stay far enough back that she won't notice, close enough that I won't lose her. She gets into a silver Lexus, and I memorize the plate number as she drives away. Back at home, I write everything down, times, descriptions, license plate. Then I call Mia. I need you to run a license plate, I tell her. I'm not a cop, Uncle Harlan. I know, but you've got connections. Someone at your firm must have access to that kind of database. She sighs. This is getting serious. It's been serious. Now I need to know who I'm dealing with. She agrees to try. I hang up and start searching online for anything I can find about co-working spaces and the kind of consultants who meet clients there for cash payments. It doesn't take long to find what I'm looking for. The woman is probably a process server, a legal consultant, or worse, someone who specializes in helping families get their elderly relatives declared incompetent. It's a whole industry I never knew existed until today. Websites with soft colors and reassuring language about protecting vulnerable adults and ensuring proper care. Translation: helping greedy relatives steal from the elderly. My phone rings. Mia. Got it, she says. Car is registered to Teresa Whitmore. She's a paralegal who works for herself, specializes in elder care law. Elder care, I repeat, my voice flat. Yeah. Uncle Harlan, I think you need to talk to a lawyer. Like, today. I have a lawyer. Not James. Someone who specializes in this. Someone who can help you protect yourself legally. Because whatever Ethan's planning, he's getting professional help. She's right. I know she's right. But the thought of sitting in some law office, explaining to a stranger that my own son is trying to rob me, makes my skin crawl. I'll think about it, I tell her. Don't think. Do it. We hang up. I sit in my living room, surrounded by furniture I built with my own hands, in a house I paid for with money I earned one back-breaking job at a time. And I think about Teresa Whitmore and her expensive coat and her cash-filled envelope. What did Ethan pay her for? Advice? Documents? Something else? I need to know. but I also need to be smart. Rushing in blindly is what stupid people do. I'm not stupid. I spend the rest of the day making calls. Old construction buddies who owe me favors. A former client who works in data analysis. Another guy who used to do private security. I'm careful about what I say, but I make it clear I need information. By evening, I have a clearer picture. Teresa Whitmore has been involved in 6 cases in the last 3 years where families had elderly relatives declared incompetent. In 5 of those cases, the families gained control of significant assets. In the 6th, the elderly person died within a year of being placed in a facility. That last detail sits in my stomach like poison. At 9 p.m., my phone buzzes again. Another message from a blocked number. Last warning, stop digging or you'll regret it. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I text back, come make me. No response, just silence. But I know they're watching. Whoever they are. Good. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when they threaten a man who has nothing left to lose. Because here's what they don't understand. I've spent 30 years working dangerous jobs. I've seen violence up close, and I've learned to handle it without flinching. They think I'm some doddering old man they can intimidate. They're about to learn better. The next morning, I wake up early and drive back to Ethan's apartment. This time, I'm not subtle. I park directly across from the entrance and wait for him to come out. He appears at 8:45, looking harried and tired. Chloe is with him, wearing designer athleisure and carrying a green smoothie. They're arguing about something. I can see the tension in their body language even from this distance. I get out of the car and walk toward them. Ethan sees me first. His face goes white. Dad, what are you doing here? We need to talk, I say calmly. Alone. Chloe steps forward, all fake concern. Harlan, is everything okay? Ethan said you've been having some difficulties lately. Difficulties? I look at my son. What kind of difficulties would those be, Ethan? He can't meet my eyes. Dad, maybe we should do this later. I have appointments. Cancel them. I can't just cancel them. Something in my voice makes him stop. Maybe he hears the steel underneath. Maybe he remembers that once upon a time, I was the one who taught him how to stand up to bullies. Either way, he nods slowly. Okay, yeah. Let me tell them I'll be late. Chloe tries to intervene. Harlan, I don't think this is a good idea. Ethan's been so stressed. Go inside, Chloe, I tell her, not asking, telling. Her eyes flash with anger, but she turns and walks back toward the apartment. I watch her go, making a mental note of the way she pulls out her phone immediately, probably texting someone. Ethan and I walk to a coffee shop 2 blocks away. Neither of us speaks during the walk. The silence is heavy, loaded with everything unsaid. We sit at a table in the back. I order black coffee. Ethan orders something complicated with oat milk and extra shots. We wait for the drinks without speaking. When they arrive, I lean forward. Tell me about Teresa Whitmore. Ethan's hand freezes halfway to his cup. Who? Don't lie to me. I saw you with her yesterday, and the day before. You paid her cash. I want to know why. Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. Power of attorney, I interrupt. You went to James 3 days ago. Tried to get him to witness documents you'd already filled out. Documents giving you control over my finances and medical decisions. Documents I never authorized. The color drains from his face. I can explain. Then explain. He looks around the coffee shop like he's checking to see if anyone's listening. When he speaks, his voice is low and rushed. Dad, I'm worried about you. You're forgetting things. You repeat yourself. Last month you called me 3 times asking the same question. Chloe and I thought maybe you needed help. Professional help. We were just trying to... I called you 3 times because you didn't answer the first 2 times, I interrupt. And I haven't forgotten anything. Try again. You're getting paranoid. Am I? Someone slashed my tires yesterday. Someone left a threatening note. Someone keeps calling me from blocked numbers, telling me to stop asking questions. That sound like paranoia to you? Ethan's eyes widen. What? Dad, I don't know anything about that. I swear. Then who does? Because somebody's trying to scare me. Somebody wants me to stop looking into what you're doing. So either you know about it, or you've gotten yourself involved with people who are willing to make threats. He looks genuinely frightened now. Good. I wouldn't. Dad, you have to believe me. I would never hurt you. But you'd steal from me? It's not stealing. You're my father. That money's going to be mine anyway someday. I just thought. Chloe said we could use some of it now, for investments, to build our future. We were going to pay you back. With what money? You're barely making your rent as it is. He flinches. How do you know that? I pay attention. Unlike you, apparently. We sit in silence. Ethan looks like he might cry. I feel nothing. Just cold certainty that my son has become someone I don't recognize. Here's what's going to happen, I tell him. You're going to stop whatever you're planning. You're going to stay away from Teresa Whitmore. You're going to leave my finances alone. And if anyone comes near me again with threats, I'm going to assume it was you. Dad! We're done talking. I stand up and walk out. Leave him sitting there with his expensive coffee and his guilt. Outside, the morning air is cold and sharp, and I breathe it in deep, trying to clear the rage from my head. Chloe, standing in the doorway of a boutique across the street, not shopping, just standing there, watching. Our eyes meet. She doesn't smile, doesn't wave, just watches me with an expression I can't quite read. Then she turns and walks away, phone pressed to her ear. And I realize something important. This isn't just Ethan's plan. It's hers, too. Their argument escalates fast. Chloe's screaming at Ethan, calling him weak and stupid. Ethan's yelling back, saying this was all her idea, that he never wanted to hurt me. The acoustics in the abandoned sawmill make their voices bounce and multiply until it sounds like there are 10 people fighting instead of 2. I stand back and let them destroy each other. You said it would be easy, Ethan shouts. You said he'd never know. You said we'd just take control quietly and he'd be too confused to fight back. He wouldn't have fought back if you'd been smarter about it. But you had to be obvious. You had to go to his lawyer. God, you're useless. I'm useless? You're the one who hired thugs to scare him. You're the one who left your planning notebook where anyone could find it. That was supposed to be private. I didn't think your father would break into our apartment. Maybe if you hadn't been plotting to rob him, he wouldn't have needed to. They're standing inches apart now, faces red, spitting venom at each other. I've never seen 2 people turn on each other so completely, so fast. But then, people who bond over cruelty rarely stay loyal when things go wrong. Finally, Chloe seems to remember I'm standing there. She turns to me, and her expression changes. The anger drains away, replaced by something calculating. Harlan, she says, her voice suddenly sweet. We can work this out. We're family. We made mistakes, but we can fix this. Just delete that evidence, and we'll forget any of this happened. No, I say simply. Think about Ethan. He's your son. Do you really want to send him to prison? He made his choice. He was confused. I pushed him into it. It's my fault, not his. She's pleading now, desperate. Please, we'll do anything. We'll leave you alone. We'll never contact you again. Just don't go to the police. Too late for that. Her expression hardens. Fine. Then you're destroying your own son's life. You'll have to live with that. I'll sleep fine, I tell her. Better than I have in months, knowing you're both behind bars. Ethan finally speaks up, his voice broken. Dad, please, I know I screwed up. I know I betrayed you, but I'm your son. Doesn't that mean anything? It meant everything, I say. That's why this hurts. That's why I'm not showing mercy. Because you knew what family meant to me, and you tried to destroy me anyway. He starts crying, actual tears streaming down his face. For a moment, just a moment, I feel something crack in my chest. That's my boy, the kid I raised, the kid I loved. But then I remember the notebook, the plans, the calculated cruelty of everything they tried to do, and the moment passes. Here's what's going to happen, I tell them both. Tomorrow morning, I'm filing a police report. I'm providing all the evidence, and I'm pressing charges for everything: fraud, conspiracy, elder abuse, attempted theft. You'll both be arrested, you'll both face trial, and you'll both go to prison. You can't, Chloe starts. I can, and I will. We'll fight it. We'll get lawyers. Your evidence won't hold up in court. Try it, I challenge. See how that works out for you. She's shaking with rage now. You're a vindictive old bastard who can't stand the thought of anyone else being happy. That's what this is really about. You're jealous that we're young and you're not. You're bitter that your life is over and ours is just beginning. My life's not over, I tell her calmly. Yours is. She screams, wordless, furious, and launches herself at me again. But she's clumsy with anger, and I've spent 30 years working in dangerous environments. I sidestep easily. She crashes into a pile of old equipment, metal clanging. Ethan rushes over to help her up. She shoves him away. Get off me. This is your fault. If you'd been stronger, if you'd been smarter, we wouldn't be in this mess. My fault? You're the one who— Shut up! Just shut up! I watch them fall apart, and I feel nothing but cold satisfaction. This is justice, not the legal kind. That comes tomorrow. This is the personal kind. The kind where they realize too late what they've lost. My phone buzzes. A text from Frank. Everything ready on my end, just say when. I text back, now. Because here's the thing. I'm not just going to send them to prison. I'm going to destroy everything they built. Their reputation, their business, their future, all of it. While they continue arguing, I make a call. It rings twice. Mr. Dover? A woman's voice. Professional. This is Amanda Chen from the real estate board. You called earlier about filing a complaint? That's right, I say loudly enough that Ethan can hear. I have evidence that my son, Ethan Dover, has been engaging in fraudulent practices. I'd like to file a formal complaint and provide documentation. Ethan's head snaps around. No, Dad, no, please. I'll email you everything, I tell Amanda, including proof of attempted fraud against a family member. We take these allegations very seriously, Amanda says. We'll open an investigation immediately. His license will be suspended pending review. I hang up. Ethan looks like I just shot him. Dad, that's my career. That's everything I've worked for. Should have thought about that before you tried to rob me. Please, I'll do anything. I'll confess. I'll take all the blame. Just don't destroy my career. Too late, I tell him. I already sent the email. Chloe is laughing now, high-pitched and slightly unhinged. This is perfect. This is just perfect. We're both ruined. Everything we built, gone. Because of you. No, I correct her. Because of you. You're the one who started this. You're the one who manipulated Ethan. You're the one who thought you could get away with it. I would have gotten away with it if he wasn't so incompetent. Hey! Ethan shouts. I'm the incompetent one? You're the one who wrote down our entire plan in a notebook. It was private. Nothing's private when you're committing crimes. They're at it again. I leave them shouting at each other and walk deeper into the sawmill. The old machinery looms in the darkness. Conveyor belts, cutting stations, control panels that haven't worked in decades. This place has good memories for me. Hard work, honest pay, the satisfaction of building something real. Unlike my son, who only knows how to tear things down. I hear footsteps behind me. Ethan, alone. Dad, wait. I turn. He looks defeated, broken. All the charm and confidence he usually wears like armor is gone, leaving just a scared kid who got in over his head. What? I ask. I need you to understand. I didn't want this, any of it. Chloe said we were drowning in debt. She said if we didn't do something drastic, we'd lose everything. I was scared. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking clearly enough to go to James and try to forge power of attorney papers. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He's crying again. But Dad, you have to believe me. I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to fix our financial problems. By stealing from me. By borrowing. We were going to pay you back, eventually. With what money? You're barely making rent as it is. I was going to close some big deals, build up my commission, get us out of debt, and then we'd return everything. Ethan, stop. Just stop. You're lying to yourself. There were no big deals coming. You were drowning, and instead of asking for help like an honest person, you decided to rob your own father. There's no version of this story where you're the good guy. He sags against a rusted support beam, all the fight gone out of him. What happens now? Now you face the consequences. Prison? Probably. For how long? I don't know. Depends on the judge. Could be a few years. Could be more. He nods slowly, like he's finally accepting reality. Can I ask you something? What? Do you hate me? The question catches me off guard. I look at my son, really look at him, and I try to find some feeling other than cold anger, some remnant of the love I used to feel. It's not there. I don't hate you, I tell him honestly. I don't feel anything at all. Now you're just a criminal who happens to share my DNA. He flinches like I slapped him. That's worse than hate. Yeah, it is. Chloe's voice echoes from somewhere in the sawmill. Ethan, where are you? We need to figure out what we're doing. He doesn't answer, just looks at me with hollow eyes. I'm sorry, he says again, for whatever that's worth. It's not worth anything. He turns and walks back toward Chloe. I watch him go, feeling nothing but tired. Tired and old and done with all of this. My phone rings. James. Harlan, where are you? I just got a very strange call from the real estate board. I'm at the sawmill with Ethan and Chloe. Tomorrow morning we're filing everything. Jesus. What are you doing at a sawmill? Having a conversation. This is getting out of hand. You need to… James, I appreciate your concern, but this is my fight, and I'm finishing it my way. Your way is going to end with someone getting hurt. Too late. Everyone's already hurt. I hang up. Walk back to where Ethan and Chloe are standing. They're not arguing anymore, just standing in defeated silence, like prisoners waiting for sentencing. Go home, I tell them. Pack your things if you want. Say goodbye to your apartment, because after tomorrow, you won't be living there anymore. You'll be answering questions in police stations, then sitting in courtrooms, then serving time. You're enjoying this, Chloe says quietly. No, I tell her. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just making sure justice happens. That's all. Justice, she repeats bitterly. Right. You had a choice, I remind her. Every step of the way, you had a choice. You chose cruelty. You chose deception. You chose to try to destroy me. Now you get to live with the consequences. She doesn't respond. Just turns and walks toward the exit. Ethan follows her like a ghost. I watch them go. Watch their cars pull out of the parking lot and disappear into the night. Then I stand alone in the abandoned sawmill, surrounded by the ghosts of honest work and honest men, and I feel something close to peace. Tomorrow, the legal system takes over. Tomorrow, they face real consequences. But tonight I won. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I sit in my living room with all the lights on, going through every piece of evidence one more time. Photos of the planning notebook, audio recordings of Chloe's admissions, documentation of bank access attempts, text messages from the hired muscle, everything organized, labeled, ready to present. James calls at 6 a.m. You still doing this? He asks. Yeah. No second thoughts? No mercy? None. All right, I'll meet you at the police station at 9. Bring everything. At 8:30, I'm in my truck heading downtown when my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. Mr. Dover? A voice I don't recognize. Male. professional. This is Detective William Hayes with the State Police. I understand you have information regarding an attempted fraud case? I wasn't expecting this. How did you? James Kerr contacted us last night. Said you were coming in this morning. We'd like to get ahead of this. Can you come to the State Police barracks instead of the local station? Why? Because what you're describing isn't just local fraud. If your son and daughter-in-law were working with professional consultants to systematically defraud you, that's part of a larger pattern. We've been investigating elder fraud rings in this region for 6 months. Your case might connect to others. Suddenly, this is bigger than I thought. I'll be there in 20 minutes. The State Police barracks is more serious than I expected. Security checkpoints, official atmosphere, they take this stuff seriously up here. Detective Hayes meets me in the lobby, mid-40s, gray suit, the kind of cop who looks like he's seen everything twice. Mr. Dover, thank you for coming. Follow me. He leads me to an interview room, not the kind with mirrors and harsh lighting like you see on TV. Just a conference room with decent chairs and a coffee maker. Tell me everything, Hayes says, pulling out a recorder. Start from the beginning. I do. Every detail. The email from James, the power of attorney attempt, the surveillance, the break-in at Ethan's apartment, the planning notebook, the hired muscle, Chloe's recorded admission. Hayes listens without interrupting, taking notes occasionally. When I finish, he leans back. Mr. Dover, I need to be honest with you. What you're describing is a felony elder abuse case, but it's also more than that. The paralegal you mentioned, Teresa Whitmore, she's on our radar. We've been watching her for 3 months. She's connected to at least 4 other cases similar to yours. Families pressuring elderly relatives to sign over control, then systematically draining assets. How many people has she hurt? That we know of, 6. But we suspect more. The problem is proving it. She's careful. Always stays just on the legal side of things. But if we can prove she knowingly participated in fraud, that she knew your son's claims about your mental state were false, we can bring charges. I've got proof she knew. Show me. I pull out my phone, show him the photos of the notebook, the text messages between Ethan and Teresa, the timeline of their meetings. Hayes studies everything carefully. This is good, he says finally. This is really good. With this, we can build a case not just against your son and daughter-in-law, but potentially against Teresa Whitmore and anyone else involved. How long will that take? Depends. If they cooperate, maybe a few weeks to get everything organized. If they fight, could be months. But Mr. Dover, I want to be clear. This means your son will almost certainly serve prison time. Is that what you want? I think about Ethan crying in the sawmill, Ethan begging for mercy, Ethan who used to be my little boy, who I taught to ride a bike and throw a baseball. Then I think about the notebook, the plans, the casual cruelty of plotting to have me declared incompetent and locked away. Yes, I tell Hayes, that's what I want. He nods. Then let's get started. Over the next 3 hours, I give a formal statement, sign documents, provide copies of all my evidence. Hayes brings in other detectives and they ask questions from every angle. By noon, I'm exhausted, but also lighter, like I've finally put down a weight I didn't know I was carrying. We'll need a few days to process everything and get warrants, Hayes tells me as I'm leaving. Try not to contact your son or daughter-in-law directly. Let us handle it from here. What about Teresa Whitmore? We'll bring her in for questioning. If she's smart, she'll cooperate. If not, he shrugs. People who protect criminals usually end up becoming criminals themselves. I drive home feeling strange. Not victorious, exactly. Not happy, just resolved. Like I did what needed to be done, and now I wait for the consequences to roll out. But I'm not done yet, because destroying Ethan's career and sending him to prison isn't enough. Chloe is the real architect here. Chloe is the one who manipulated everything, who pushed Ethan into this, who thought she could get away with it, and Chloe needs to understand exactly what she's lost. I spend the afternoon making more calls. Not to police this time, to other people. Chloe's world is built on social media, on appearances, on the illusion of success and glamour. So that's where I'm going to hit her. I call the companies that sponsor her Instagram posts. Small local businesses mostly. Boutiques, restaurants, lifestyle brands. I introduce myself as her father-in-law and very calmly explain that she's currently under investigation for elder abuse and fraud, that she and her husband are facing criminal charges, that any business associated with her is going to face serious reputational damage. Most of them sound shocked. A few thank me for the warning. All of them say they'll reconsider their partnerships. Then I call the apartment complex where they live. Explain to the leasing office that the tenants in Unit 4B are about to be arrested for felony fraud. That there's a good chance they won't be able to make rent once they're in custody. That the complex might want to start eviction proceedings now, before things get messy. The property manager sounds uncomfortable but says she'll look into it. By evening, I've systematically dismantled every support structure Chloe built. Her sponsorships, her housing, her reputation, all of it crumbling because I'm making very calm, very factual phone calls. Is it petty? Maybe. Do I care? Not at all. My phone rings. Mia. Uncle Harlan, what did you do? What do you mean? I just got a call from Ethan. He's freaking out. Says the police contacted him. Says they're investigating him for fraud. Says you're behind all of it. I am behind all of it. Jesus Christ, Uncle Harlan. They tried to rob me, Mia. They hired people to intimidate me. They planned to have me declared incompetent and lock me away in some facility while they spent my money. What did you expect me to do? Forgive them? Silence on the line. Then, no, I guess not. But this is nuclear. This is destroying their entire lives. They tried to destroy mine. I know, I hope you can live with this after. I can live with anything as long as they can't. More silence. Uncle Harlan? Be careful. Desperate people do desperate things. I'm counting on it. I hang up and make dinner I barely touch. The house feels too quiet, too empty. I keep expecting Ethan to call, to show up, to try one more time to convince me to back off. But he doesn't. Instead, at 9 p.m., there's a knock on my door. Hard, aggressive. I check the peephole. Chloe, alone, looking furious. I open the door. Can I help you? She pushes past me into the house. What did you do? I told the truth, that's all. My sponsors are dropping me. The apartment complex is threatening eviction. My Instagram followers are messaging asking why I'm a fraud. You destroyed everything. No, you destroyed everything when you decided to rob me. I just made sure everyone knew about it. I'm going to sue you for defamation. Sue me with what money? You're about to be arrested. You won't have money for lawyers. She screams, actually screams, and grabs a lamp off my side table, throwing it against the wall. It shatters. Get out, I tell her calmly. No, you don't get to ruin my life and then tell me to leave. You're a miserable old man who can't stand seeing anyone else happy. That's what this is really about. This is about you trying to steal my life savings. You don't even use that money. You just sit here in your pathetic little house, hoarding it like a dragon. We needed it. We deserved it. You deserved nothing. She comes at me then, fists swinging. I'm bigger, stronger, but she's wild with rage. I grab her wrists, trying to restrain her without hurting her. She kicks, connects with my shin, pain shoots up my leg. Stop! I shout. She doesn't stop. She's screaming obscenities, fighting like a cornered animal. I push her away, harder than I intended, and she stumbles backward, falling against the couch. For a moment, we both just breathe hard, staring at each other. You're going to prison, I tell her. Nothing you do now changes that. Then I'm taking you down with me, she hisses. I'll tell them you attacked me. I'll say you've been threatening me for weeks. I'll make you look like the villain. Go ahead. Try it. See whose story the police believe. The woman under investigation for fraud, or the victim with documented evidence. She starts crying. Not sad crying, angry crying. I hate you. I hate you so much. I don't care. She picks herself up and walks to the door, pauses there, looking back at me with pure venom. Ethan will never forgive you for this. Ethan can rot, I tell her. Right alongside you. She slams the door so hard the frame shakes. I stand in my living room, surrounded by broken lamp pieces, and I feel nothing but tired, but also satisfied. Because tomorrow, the arrests happen. Tomorrow, they start facing real consequences, and I'll be there to watch. Detective Hayes calls at 7 a.m. We're executing arrest warrants this morning. Thought you'd want to know. What time? Within the hour. We'll bring them in for processing, formal charges, bail hearing, standard procedure. You don't need to be present. I'll be there anyway. Silence on the line. Then, Mr. Dover, I understand you want to see this through, but watching your son get arrested, that's going to be hard. Are you sure? I'm sure. I drive to Ethan and Chloe's apartment complex, park where I can see the entrance. At 8:15, 2 unmarked police cars pull into the lot. 4 detectives get out, including Hayes. They walk into the building with purpose. 8 minutes later, they emerge with Ethan and Chloe in handcuffs. Ethan looks broken. Like he aged 10 years overnight. He's not fighting, not protesting, just shuffling along with his head down, completely defeated. Chloe, on the other hand, is screaming, fighting against the handcuffs, yelling about unlawful arrest and police brutality and how she's going to sue everyone. 2 officers have to physically guide her to the car. As they're loading her into the back seat, she sees my truck. Our eyes meet across the parking lot. The look she gives me is pure hatred, pure rage. Good. I follow the police cars to the station, watch as they're processed, fingerprints, mugshots, formal booking. I stand behind a glass partition where they can't see me, but I can see everything. Ethan cries through the entire process. Chloe keeps demanding a lawyer, her voice getting shriller with each repetition. Hayes finds me in the observation area. Still think this was worth it? Yeah. You're a cold man, Mr. Dover. No, I'm a man who got betrayed by the people who should have loved him. There's a difference. He nods slowly. The bail hearing is this afternoon. Given the charges, fraud, elder abuse, conspiracy, bail will probably be set high. Can they make it? Ethan's broke. Chloe's family has money, but they've never liked her much. My guess is they'll both sit in county lockup until trial. That could be weeks. Good. I leave the station and drive aimlessly for a while, trying to figure out what I'm feeling. Relief, satisfaction, victory. None of those words quite fit. It's more like completion. Like a task I started months ago when I got James's warning email is finally finished. My phone rings, a number I don't recognize with a local area code. Mr. Dover? This is Teresa Whitmore. I pull over. What do you want? I want to explain. What you think happened, it's not the whole story. Really? Because the story I have is pretty simple. You helped my son and daughter-in-law plan to defraud me. You provided legal guidance on how to have me declared incompetent. You took money to help them steal my life savings. That's not... I didn't know the full situation. Ethan told me you were declining, that you needed help. I was just trying to... Stop lying. I have documentation, emails, text messages, proof that you knew exactly what you were doing. Silence. Then, Mr. Dover, please. I have a career, a reputation. If this becomes public, it's already public. The police are investigating you. By this time tomorrow, every news outlet in the region will be covering this story. You're done. You don't understand. I have a family, children. This will destroy them. Should have thought about that before you became a professional criminal. I'm not a criminal. I help families navigate difficult situations with elderly relatives. You help greedy relatives steal from the elderly. There's a difference. Please, I'm begging you, don't do this. I'll do anything. There's nothing you can do. You made your choice. Now live with it. I hang up. Block the number. Feel nothing but cold satisfaction. The bail hearing is at 2 p.m. I sit in the back of the courtroom, watching as Ethan and Chloe are brought in wearing orange jumpsuits. They look small, diminished. Nothing like the confident young couple who thought they could outsmart an old man. The prosecutor lays out the charges: fraud, elder abuse, conspiracy, criminal intimidation. The list goes on. With each charge, I watch Ethan's shoulders slump further. Their lawyer, a public defender who looks fresh out of law school, argues for reasonable bail, says they're not flight risks, have ties to the community, no prior criminal records. The prosecutor counters that they attempted to steal approximately $600,000 from a vulnerable family member, that they hired criminals to intimidate the victim, that they showed clear premeditation and sophisticated planning. The judge, a woman in her 60s who looks like she's heard every excuse imaginable, sets bail at $100,000 each. Neither Ethan nor Chloe can make bail. Their lawyer asks for reduction. The judge denies it. Bailiff, remand them to county lockup pending trial, she says. Bangs her gavel. It's over in less than 15 minutes. As they're being led out, Ethan looks up and sees me. Our eyes meet. For just a moment, I see something in his face. Not anger, not hatred, just profound sadness, like he's finally understanding what he's lost. Too late. Outside the courthouse, James is waiting. Well? He asks. Well, what? Do you feel better? Did getting revenge fix anything? It's not revenge. It's justice. Keep telling yourself that. What do you want me to say, James? That I feel bad? That I regret it? Because I don't. He looks at me for a long moment. I've known you 30 years, Harlan. I've watched you build a life, raise a son, be a good man. But what you did these past few days, that's not the man I knew. Maybe you didn't know me as well as you thought. Or maybe you changed. Maybe getting hurt turned you into something harder, something colder. If that's what it takes to protect myself, then fine. I'm cold. James shakes his head. I'll still be your lawyer. I'll still help you navigate the legal stuff. But Harlan, I think you should talk to someone. A therapist. Someone who can help you process what happened without turning you into the kind of person who enjoys watching his own son get arrested. I didn't enjoy it. Didn't you? He walks away before I can answer. I stand on the courthouse steps, watching people come and go, and I ask myself if he's right. Did I enjoy it? Did some part of me take satisfaction in watching Ethan and Chloe suffer? Maybe. And maybe that makes me a bad person. Maybe it means I'm damaged in some fundamental way. But I don't care, because they hurt me first. I drive home. The house feels different now, lighter somehow, like a weight that's been pressing down for months has finally lifted. I make dinner, actual dinner, not just coffee and cold leftovers, and I eat at the table like a civilized human being. Afterward, I sit on the porch and watch the sunset. The neighborhood is quiet, peaceful, nobody threatening me, nobody plotting against me, just normal suburban silence. My phone rings. Mia. I saw the news, she says. They arrested Ethan and Chloe. Yeah. How do you feel? I don't know, satisfied, tired, something in between. Uncle Harlan, I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. What? Ethan called me from jail, used his one phone call to reach out. He wanted me to tell you something. I don't want to hear it. He said he's sorry, that he knows he destroyed everything, that he doesn't expect forgiveness. But he wanted you to know that he loves you, that he always loved you, that he just made terrible choices. He can keep his apologies. I know, but I promised I'd pass the message along. That's all. We sit in silence for a moment. I watch the sky turn from orange to purple to dark blue. Mia, do you think I'm a bad person? No. I think you're a hurt person who fought back. There's a difference. James thinks I went too far. James isn't the one who got betrayed. Yeah. Uncle Harlan? Whatever happens next, the trial, the sentencing, all of it. You did the right thing. They tried to destroy you, and you stopped them. That's not being vindictive. That's being smart. After we hang up, I sit on the porch for a long time, thinking about everything that happened. About Ethan as a kid, about the person he became, about Chloe and her calculated cruelty, about my own choices and whether I could have handled things differently. But every time I try to imagine a different path, one where I showed mercy, where I gave them second chances, I just see them winning. I see myself in some nursing home, drugged and confused, while they sell my house and spend my money and congratulate themselves on getting away with it. No. I made the right choice. Even if it means I'm colder now, even if it means I've changed into someone harder, less forgiving, less willing to see the good in people, at least I'm still free. At least I still have my dignity. At least they didn't win. And that, I decide, is enough. The trial date is set for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, Ethan and Chloe sit in county lockup, unable to make bail. I don't visit, don't write letters, don't send messages through lawyers. I've said everything I need to say, and now I just wait for the legal system to finish what I started. Rick Sullivan calls on a Tuesday morning. Thought you'd want to know. Teresa Whitmore cut a deal. What kind of deal? Full cooperation with the prosecution in exchange for reduced charges. She's going to testify against Ethan and Chloe, provide documentation of all her communications with them, the whole thing. Why would she do that? Because she's looking at 5 years minimum if she fights this. But if she cooperates, maybe 18 months with parole. She's got kids, wants to minimize her time. So she's going to bury them to save herself. Pretty much. I should feel satisfaction at this, but mostly I just feel tired. Tired of the whole thing. Tired of thinking about Ethan and Chloe and all the ways they tried to hurt me. Thanks for letting me know, I tell Rick. Harlan, you doing okay? Yeah. Why? Because you sound, I don't know, flat, like you're running on empty. I am running on empty, but I'll make it to the finish line. He's quiet for a moment. When this is over, really over, I mean, you should take a trip somewhere. Get out of town for a while. Clear your head. Maybe. I'm serious. You've been living with this stress for months. Once the trial's done, you need to reset. I'll think about it. After we hang up, I realize he's right. I've been so focused on fighting, on surviving, on winning, that I haven't thought about what comes after. What do I do once Ethan and Chloe are convicted? Once they're serving time and I'm alone again? The answer, I realize, is that I have no idea. The next few weeks blur together. I meet with prosecutors to prepare for trial, go over my testimony, make sure all the evidence is organized and ready. The assistant district attorney handling the case, a sharp woman named Patricia Liu, tells me they have an extremely strong case. With Teresa Whitmore's testimony and all the documentation you provided, conviction is almost certain, she says. The question is just how much time they'll serve. How much are you asking for? For your son? Probably 5 to 7 years. For Chloe? 7 to 10. She was the primary architect, and she showed no remorse. Plus the attempted assault at your house. That's a separate charge that'll run consecutive. 5 to 7 years. My son will be in his mid-30s when he gets out. His whole life derailed, his career destroyed, his reputation ruined. And I'm the one who did it to him. Mr. Dover? Patricia is watching me carefully. Are you having second thoughts? No, just processing. It's natural to feel conflicted. He's your son. But what he did, what they both did, was serious. You understand that, right? I understand. Good. Because once we go to trial, there's no backing out. The state is prosecuting, not you personally. Even if you changed your mind, we'd proceed. I'm not changing my mind. She nods. Trial starts in 3 weeks. Make sure you're ready. I spend those 3 weeks in a strange state of suspension. Not happy, not sad, just existing, waiting. I work in my garage, building furniture I don't need. I take walks around the neighborhood. I avoid the news, avoid social media, avoid anything that might remind me of what's coming. Mia visits twice, brings groceries, makes sure I'm eating, asks gentle questions about how I'm feeling. I give her vague answers because I don't know how to articulate the emptiness inside me, the sense that I've won the battle but lost something essential in the process. "You're depressed," she says finally on her second visit. "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're sitting in this house all day, barely talking to anyone, building furniture you don't need. That's not fine. What do you want me to do?" "Talk to someone, a therapist, a counselor, someone who can help you process this." "I don't need therapy." "Uncle Harlan, you sent your own son to prison. You destroyed his marriage, his career, his entire life. Even if he deserved it, and he did, that's going to leave a mark. You can't just pretend you're okay." "I am okay." "You're not, and if you don't deal with it now, it's going to eat at you for the rest of your life." She's probably right, but I don't have the energy to care. The trial starts on a cold Monday in November. The courthouse is packed. Local news picked up the story, and apparently elder fraud makes for compelling headlines. I sit in the front row behind the prosecution table and watch as Ethan and Chloe are brought in. Ethan has lost weight. His suit hangs loose on his frame, and his face is hollow. He doesn't look at me, just keeps his eyes down, studying the table in front of him. Chloe looks angry, defiant, like she still thinks she's going to find a way out of this. Her lawyer must have told her the odds, but she's not accepting them. She glares at the prosecutor, at the judge, at me, especially at me. The trial takes 3 days. Teresa Whitmore testifies first, laying out every detail of how Ethan and Chloe approached her, what they asked for, how they planned to execute their scheme. She's nervous but thorough, clearly desperate to save herself. Then I testify. Walk the jury through everything from the beginning: the warning email from James, the power of attorney attempt, the surveillance and threats, the break-in at their apartment, the planning notebook, Chloe's recorded admission. The defense attorney tries to poke holes in my story, suggesting I'm bitter and vindictive, that I'm exaggerating things because I'm hurt. But the evidence speaks for itself. The notebook exists. The recordings exist. The documentation exists. On the third day, the jury deliberates for 4 hours. When they come back, their verdict is unanimous: guilty on all counts. Ethan puts his head in his hands and cries. Chloe stares straight ahead, her jaw clenched so tight I can see the muscles working. Sentencing is scheduled for 2 weeks later. Patricia Liu tells me the judge will likely follow her recommendations: 5 to 7 for Ethan, 7 to 10 for Chloe. "You won," she says. "You should feel good about this." But I don't feel good. I don't feel anything. I just feel empty. On the day of sentencing, I almost don't go. What's the point? They're already convicted. Hearing the judge pronounce their sentences won't change anything. But in the end, I go anyway. Because I started this, and I need to see it through to the end. The courtroom is less crowded this time. Just lawyers, a few reporters, Mia sitting beside me for support. Ethan and Chloe are brought in one last time. The judge, the same woman from the bail hearing, looks at them with something like disappointment. "I've reviewed all the evidence in this case," she says. "The planning, the premeditation, the calculated nature of your crimes. What strikes me most is not just what you did, but who you did it to. Mr. Dover is your father, your family, and you attempted to systematically rob him, to have him declared incompetent, to institutionalize him against his will. The betrayal here is profound." She pauses, letting the words sink in. "Ethan Dover, you are sentenced to 6 years in state prison, followed by 3 years probation. Chloe Dover, you are sentenced to 9 years in state prison, followed by 5 years probation. Additionally, you are both ordered to pay full restitution of all costs incurred by the victim, plus damages. The gavel comes down, final, irreversible. Ethan is sobbing openly now. Chloe just stares at the judge with hatred in her eyes. As they're being led out, Ethan looks back at me one last time, and I see in his face the same thing I saw at the bail hearing. Not anger, but profound sadness. The realization of everything he's lost hitting him all at once. "Dad," he mouths silently. "I'm sorry." I don't respond. Just watch as the bailiffs take him away. And then it's over. Everyone stands, shuffles toward the exits. Mia puts her hand on my shoulder. "Are you okay?" "Yeah," I lie. "No, you're not. Come on. Let's get out of here." We walk out of the courthouse together. The November air is cold and sharp, promising winter. I breathe it in deep, trying to clear my head. "Uncle Harlan?" Mia says as we reach my truck. "I know this was hard, but you did the right thing." "Did I?" "Yes, they tried to destroy you. You stopped them. That's all." It doesn't feel like winning. It's not supposed to, but it's still the right thing. I drive home alone. The house is dark and cold when I arrive. I turn on lights, make coffee, sit in my living room surrounded by furniture I built and memories I can't escape. My phone buzzes. A text from James. "It's done. You can move on now." But can I? Can anyone really move on after something like this? I don't know. What I do know is that Ethan and Chloe are in prison. They won't hurt me again. Won't hurt anyone else. And I'm still here, still free, still in control of my life. Maybe that has to be enough. Maybe that's all I get. And maybe, eventually, it'll feel like victory instead of emptiness. But not tonight. Tonight, I just feel tired.